Okay, so let's continue on this Project English Mastery video series. And the project we actually have, the sub project in the Project English Mastery video series, is that we are trying to write a book about becoming a YouTuber. And this is the Truth Detectives manual for becoming a YouTuber, and it deals with filmmaking, almost filmmaking, all the different facets of making YouTube videos. We are talking about filming, we are talking about writing, so like screenwriting. We are talking about planning, editing, lighting, acting, costumes, the budget, and the set. And there's bound to be different more topics that we should be talking about, but we are trying to create these sub kind of topics inside of this content list for the book. And now we might be thinking about like the writing. Like I do a lot of writing for my videos beforehand, and it's usually most of my writing you will never see actually that goes into making my videos. I do that a lot, but now because I have an opportunity to do this and use this tool and talk a lot, then I thought that yeah, I'm gonna share this part of the process for you. I know that it's not so entertaining, but I also know that there's a lot to be gained actually from these videos. You know, there's so much that you can gain, but these are not your entertainment videos. You know, there's nothing entertaining in this, but you can gain something from this if you apply this in your own life. So let's talk about the writing part of the video making. um, inventing inventing ideas, starting with a title. That's what I have been doing a lot. I have been starting with the title, and I don't know if is it a good idea to start with the video title. Should I start making my videos with the title in mind? Should I already know what I'm going to be talking about or explaining or showing in the video before I start doing it? Or should I just film a lot of stuff and then go ahead and edit it? Okay. Let's talk about camera gear. And then we're gonna talk about audio gear. You could put like with camera gear, you know, with filming. We said that, you know, chapter 1 is lighting, but we are just gonna start we're just gonna start over again, and we're gonna be talking about I'm going to make a whole chapter about the shadows in your videos. No YouTubers interested in that usually. Chapter 2, it's about filming. How do you actually film YouTube videos? What do you need to do it? Well, you need a camera. It might be a compact camera, a DSLR, a video camera, a smartphone, anything you can film a video on. That's the first thing you need. Then you have to figure out where you are going to position this camera. Maybe that's the only thing you should be thinking about. Where should I position this camera? You know. How do you actually film YouTube videos? Well, that's a great question. I could film myself doing this. If you spend your whole time and her whole day on the computer. Oh yeah, you can also use a webcam. When I started, I used this Sony point and shoot that could only do 720p video that used AA batteries. You know, I did a lot of videos on that, but it was something like 5 months, and then I got my first video camera, and then I got a compact camera, and then I got a high-end video camera that I have been using. I tried a DSLR, I didn't like it, and now I'm getting a better compact camera. But I feel that with YouTube video making, you should aim to do your videos on a video camera, not a DSLR. Because DSLRs have very poor battery life, and you can't do that kind of you don't have that kind of freedom you have with a video camera. That's one of the main reasons I wouldn't use a DSLR. But yeah, you can get pretty great image quality with one. Yeah. Why don't you film yourself on the computer? Typing away messages to your friends on Facebook, something like that. Okay, I'm here going to write a new chapter. There's marketing, and you can learn YouTube. You can gain some ideas how to do YouTube marketing through marketing books in general. Almost all of these subjects, they have books written about them, I'm sure. You know, for example, acting. I have read few books about acting. I have not read books about editing. I have read books about planning. I have read books about writing and even screenwriting, but I haven't read books about filmmaking and filming, you know. I don't know. I have no experience in this stuff. I have not read books about it, I mean. Costumes. I have not read books about clothing, you know. I should maybe. I don't know. The budget, you know. I'm just at the moment actually reading a book about money. So yeah, I'm reading a book, but I don't know anything. I don't know. I haven't read books about budgeting, but I have read books about marketing. You know. So yeah. What are the like the what are if we divide the set into these parts, like what is it really about? It's about the walls. It's about the you could say furniture. if that's involved. Well, lights are part of the set. Stage, is there a stage on the set? You know, that kind of stuff. Nowadays, you know, aren't many movies, you know, filmed actually against green screens, and you know the whole of the movie, like the backgrounds are done on computers, that kind of stuff. At least some movies are done that way. They are CGI generated stuff, but you know, a YouTuber won't do that. Yeah, probably. A YouTuber won't do that. So we might ask a question, you know, how much do I have to rely on reality in my YouTube video making? Do I have to rely on natural light, on things already built by other people to film my videos against or use as a background? Do I have to rely on the buildings that have been already built, my home that might not be optimal at all for filmmaking? Yeah, that kind of stuff. When I was just, you know, I'm not looking for a home to buy. I don't have that kind of stuff, but I don't have that kind of money. I mean, I have the stuff, but I don't have the money. I have to combine those two. But I was looking at these homes, you know, that were quite small, and they were divided into like these two floors, and I thought that they were kind of badly designed homes. But I was just thinking that what kind of a home should like a YouTuber really be living in? What kind of a home should a YouTuber be living in? Okay, I'm just gonna ask, what kind of a home should I be living in? Well, you understand that, for example, if you're a musician, it's a really shitty thing to live in in an apartment. Well, if you make like if you make electronic music, it's understandable. And if you think about electronic, oh yeah, background music. You have noticed that in my videos there is no background music, and that's because I don't really appreciate nowadays music. That's one of the reasons. The other reason is copyright. We might write like copyright issues, audio levels, musical style. Like what kind of music would you want to like put into your videos? You know, it's actually really easy to do in terms of editing. If we write over here background music, and we go to this chapter over here, you see this image over here. I'm going to explain this to you. Okay, you see this mixer over here. This mixer has these audio. These are these audio files basically. If you draw a video file or an audio file over here, you can change the level of that whatever it might be. It's just a mixer, you know. If you add more audio files into the file and you create more of these lines, you get more of these sliders. It's a mixer, you know. It's very easy to do background music on videos. But the problem is that if you don't do the music yourself, it's of course copyrighted content, you know. And if you do videos on YouTube that have anything copywritten on them, that has copyrights to other people, they can at some point just decide that no, this video can't be shown, and the YouTube has done this really like good nowadays. It's great, you know, because if you use some like song that has been used that is owned by somebody else, they can monetize actually your video. They can get money from your video, so you shouldn't be using background music if it's not actually you should own, you should get some musician to do it, and you should buy the copyright for that, and that's a huge hassle, you know. So if you don't have musical talent by yourself, you know, of course there are some of these songs on actually that you can use that are just, you know, on YouTube, them like this video creator thing. You can get some songs that don't have any copyright on them, but I feel that yeah, I'm not interested in that because as I said, you know, I don't appreciate music nowadays, and I don't want it to be part of my videos like that way. But if I would do it myself, that would be a different kind of game, you know. If I could do music myself, then yes, it's a different kind of stuff. So that's one of the ideas you can make. Or you can also use to make your videos kind of more interesting or better. But I feel that it's kind of, you know, well, it can be distracting, you know, from just watching the video. It can be a distraction. So that part is now kind of explained. I could do it, but I would have to find something that I like, and I'm not willing to go through that, you know, because I don't feel that it's really needed. But you know, in films, you know, films are, you know, there's also, you know, it's really hard, you know, nowadays to get people interested in anything because they are so oversaturated with this kind of multi-sensory type of thing. You have lights flashing, and you have background music, and you have all kinds of like freaking insane video, insane camera angles and cuts, and you know, this kind of stuff. You know how entertainment is. It's just, you know, it's for first of all, it's too much for the human mind to handle this stuff, and it makes your brain really dull, actually, the entertainment that is out there. But on top of that, you know, it's, yeah, you know, it creates this kind of, you know, when you have to compete with that, you have to really not try to imitate what they are doing. You know, you have to create something that has value in some other aspect. You know, you can't compete with the movie world in the background music. You know, they have composers that do music background music, actual fucking orchestras. You know, you think you're going to be doing that kind of level on your YouTube videos? Well, no, you can't. You can't build huge railings to like fly your cameras, you know. You can't fly yourself to some freaking, you know, New Zealand to film these videos in. Well, some YouTubers have actually fucking done those kind of things, but I don't have the means. So what can I do? What can I do with what I have? Well, with YouTube, I would say that with YouTube you should start with what you got. With YouTube, you should start with what you got, because it's not going to be evaluated based on one video that you do. You can always do more YouTube videos. It's a constantly evolving thing. You always make more, you always make better. So just start where you are and make incremental improvements in the videos. That's what I have done. Incremental improvements. Try to make one thing a little bit better. Whatever it might be. It might be the audio quality, it might be the video quality, it might be the cutting in the video, it might be the lighting. Just try to make it a little bit better. A little bit better. And keep doing that until something great happens. You know, if you make Small incremental improvements. This is the same idea. You might film your videos, for example, on an iPhone. I would never do that. I don't think filming on a smartphone is a great idea. I feel that that's stupid, but you can do that. You can do that. You can probably even edit videos nowadays on a smartphone. I have no idea. They have pretty great capabilities in them, but I'm not interested in that. But you could do it, and you could start YouTubing that way. You can do it. There's nothing blocking you. YouTube videos don't have to be perfect when you start them. That's kind of the idea behind the whole platform. You just keep adding parts to it, and you develop some parts over here, and you take it to the next level in this video, and that kind of stuff. Just do it. And yeah, so start where you are and make incremental improvements to the videos. Try to make one thing a bit better. That's how technology overall gets better and is improved. And YouTube video making is so tied up to technology. But there's a lot of non-tech related also to your videos. For example, your clothing, and for example, is lighting really tech? Well, maybe it could be said that yeah, lighting is also tech. But now let's read this. How can I break out of this box so many other YouTubers are trapped in? I want to make videos that are really out of the box that YouTube videos are usually filmed in. I want to create something that is really in all facets of YouTube making not been done before. The art I'm creating right at this moment, you can see the example picture over here. This is kind of something that is not created at least a lot, Yeah, there's abstract art, on YouTube and that kind of stuff. But I would want to use this I would want to use this on my backgrounds with green screen. But then I kind of realized that I'm kind of limited then to just, being here. And maybe talking about something, I'm kind of limited. I can't do all kinds of funny stuff, maybe I could do in other videos. So there's the background music, Oh, okay. I'm going to take back what I said about the background music. I'm going to explain this idea I have. And I have this idea for a background music that I would kind of move and maybe even talk in the rhythm of the background music. I met this couple of dudes, I'm gonna tell this story. I met this couple of dudes, and they had this speaker, and I made some fans, talking to them, and I kind of pulled out this kind of performance thing. I kind of danced, to the music and started, like kind of following the rhythm of talking in the rhythm of the music. And I'm thinking that I have done a lot of these rhythmical experimentations, and I would be interested in doing those kind of videos that have, that really are about taking human language to the next level, that are really about not being music, but about being YouTube videos and speeches done with musical style. Kind of like bridging those gaps, And I would want to make these rhythm videos that could have rhythm of movement freedom of speech, all that kind of stuff that would be so above the normal way that human beings talk to each other that people would have no other possibility but to be interested in them. That's what I'm really interested in. And yeah, I could do it, but at the moment I'm kind of thinking that no. So we're not gonna be doing that idea just yet. And we're gonna talk about costumes and fabrics, colors. For example, to set the background, I was looking at backgrounds that are actually meant for filming, they are made of paper and all kinds of shit like that. And I was thinking that if you pick a color, you are always stuck with that color. If you go with a green screen, you can always change the whatever it might be. You can do so many things with that. But the problem might be, like, is it really in the end, do you get these edges, does it really work good? Is there some finicky things that can happen when the light kind of changes, do you need a certain kind of room? Should there be, what if there's natural light flowing in? Like, does it change when you film in the like nighttime? Like, what are all the things related to like green screening? Because in some videos I have seen, it kind of looks fake. It just kind of looks fake. And I'm thinking how I could use these images that I make. These are digital things. How can I use these things on the background? And yeah, a green screen is probably my only option at this point in human history. Who knows what will be invented in the future? Okay, but let's talk about next, the filming. And what kind of camera is the best for filming YouTube videos? Video cameras have a lot of battery life usually. If you get a really high-end one, you can get a good microphone to go with it. Because YouTube is half video and half audio. You should be getting cameras only that you can attach external microphones to. But if you film with couple of different cameras, you can use the best microphone if you read the video editing chapter. If you are really crazy, you can even use a completely separate audio recording solution. Like, for example, like a pocketable recorder. You could use that. You could use a pocketable recorder. Oh, wait a second, I'm going to. Okay, so let's continue. Audio recording solution. You could use a XLR microphone that is attached to some audio recording solution. You could use a pocketable recorder. But the problem over here is that you can't match maybe so easily the audio files. so you get the lip sync done right. You know, this is something that is more related to animation. When you film, you don't have to worry about this. You know, this is related to lip sync or audio sync. But basically with video editing software like this, if you put a couple of different video tracks over here, and you get those video tracks, the audio files are always synced on themselves with the video track, so it's easy to do. But if you have a completely like a separate video an audio recorder solution, then you will have to kind of find that clip, that audio clip, and it's going to be a bit of a hassle, you know, because if you have two cameras and one recording audio solution, then you will kind of have to have three audio tracks that you lip synced or the audio synced, like the pocketable recorder to. And I don't know, I wouldn't do that. I want to like have the audio file recorded by the camera. I feel that that's the right way to go in YouTube. You shouldn't be playing around with it. It's so much extra work for like not such good gain. Yeah, you can get like you can use any kind of recording solution. Then you don't have to be limited to these microphones that work with video cameras, because with some video cameras this is a problem. Yeah, this is a real problem. This is a real problem, you know. With some video cameras, you don't get XLR inputs. You have to do 3.5 millimeter connections, and some microphones might have some background hiss, hum, noise, and that might be a bit distracting. You get that? Like, it might be a bit distracting. So what do you do about that? Well, I don't know if you go out and film outside, you know, those might be masked, you know, like if you film outside, there's so much, you know, kind of, while you are inside, you know, there's usually the background is more silent, so, you know, so you have an audio background and you have a video background, and if you film your video against a white background, just straight white, you know, for example, a wall, with no texture in it, no shadows. It's kind of comparable to you filming your video without anything else but you're talking on the background. You know, it's just white. You know, it's just white. Then when you add music to your background, you kind of like start to get a bit artistic with the thing. And as I said, you know, I would want to do background music, but it's such a problem with the copyright things and that kind of stuff, you know, and yeah, I don't know, it's kind of distracting, you know. So is your YouTube background actually distracting the viewer? Is your YouTube background distracting the viewer? Should it just be as simple as possible? You have to also think that when monitors, for example, use white color, the white is going to be more eye straining than, for example, black. You get that? So if you want to kind of think about it, colors that are really strong, that have their value high, are more eye straining, are going to pop from the screen more than colors that are more, muted. And if you want to go for a YouTube background, should you use something that is dark, or should you use something that is should you use something that is more colorful, something bright, For example, you see here when I use this software is kind of bad because it's just white, it's so the value is so high that it's not really such a great thing to like watch, So when I filmed those videos where I taught writing, and I used this software called Focuswriter, it was more, it looked better because there was just this monochrome green font on a black background like in the Matrix movies, It looked kind of interesting, Here's a Neo typing away, and in this software you can do you can change this in any way, and it sucks, but you get that. Is your background kind of distracting the viewer? This shouldn't be here, but I'm going to find the part where we talk about the set. It might be the first thing to say. Is your if it's just black, yeah. We're gonna ask, how much space do you actually need to film this video in? If you want the full frontal view of yourself, then you will have to place the camera pretty far away, and the wall behind you has to be big. There's so much things in nature that you can use, but you have these limitations. You have the wind, and you have the wind, and you know. Okay. We're gonna talk about transitions in video editing next, and we might say that, are transitions in video editing necessary? Should you make the clip flow from one another by some effect, by fading in, for example? Or should you just do straight cuts? I have not read a book about film or video cutting or editing, that kind of stuff. I have no idea. Do you actually kind of start to grasp how many different skills in making a YouTube channel work kind of need? Like, look at this stuff. Like, there are people who are experts and masters in only something like fabrics, for example. There are people who are only masters and like in something like camera gear. So you have to kind of find those. You have to find those people and pick their brains and kind of gain some understanding in all of this stuff. And if you kind of take all of these things and make them kind of better just by making these small incremental improvements. At some point, you know, your YouTube channel is going to be a bit better, or at least it's starting to get great, I would say. So maybe we are trying to also create a plan over here how we can actually accomplish that. That's how yeah. So what might be the next thing you might be making incrementally better? What could you do? Okay. Marketing your YouTube channel. Well, I have kind of invented this way of marketing my YouTube channel in the real life. We're gonna talk about real life marketing and online marketing separately. And then we're gonna be talking about website building. Because if you are a YouTuber, you should probably also have your own website, you know. Nowadays I made this portfolio website for myself, but I'm going to be developing that website more in the future. I'm going to be developing that, but it's not going to happen, you know, just yet, I feel. And you know, there are people who, there's so many fucking skills that you have to wear so many fucking hats when you do this kind of stuff. Because really you might say that you're a kind of an entrepreneur, but not really, you know. Yeah, you're not an entrepreneur if you make this kind of stuff. It's not that way. But you have to understand a lot of stuff. You have to really understand a lot of stuff. And then, and with everything I'm going to talk about, you need to ask the question, should I actually do this? Should I try it? And if I try it, should I stick with it? Or should I just let it go at some point? For example, with the green screen, if you end up getting one, then you're kind of stuck with it, you know. You can use it. If it doesn't work, what do you do with it, you know? That kind of stuff. If you kind of decide that, you know what, I'm going to completely make new tapestry for my, you know, for room example, to make a better background, you know, to make it feel better. Then the decision I'm going to make, I'm going to be stuck with that. And I feel that I always want to change. I always want change, you know. I want, if I could change the texture, and if I could change, if I could change my walls, for example, great, you know. If I could change my walls. The problem is that I can always find a good wall, you know. Walls are easy to find. They are everywhere. Walls are also your creative blocks, you know. They block you. But walls are fucking everywhere. Yeah, you can find a great wall, you know. But can you film against it, you know? Can you just go around town, you know, and find great walls and just ask that, hey, can I just 5 minutes, you know, I'm gonna film a video over here. Can I use this? Here's my YouTube channel. Hey, you could do that. There's nothing blocking you from that. You could become this way. You could just be this kind of a guy that just goes around people and is like, can I film here? Can I film here? You know, you could do that. But for example, in some cafes, you probably can't film videos in because there's usually background music, and you could ask, you could probably get a permission to do it. Yeah, it's possible. There's probably nothing blocking you, you know? So think about it. Is your YouTube channel really about your living environment and you showing where you live? If it's that way, then okay, that's probably where you should go. But if it's not, then you will have to design your own, as you know, you will have to design your own set, so to say. So what kind of a home would be the best for a YouTuber to live in? What kind of possibilities could be created? What if you had a pool? What if you had a balcony? You know, that kind of stuff. I don't have a balcony, so I can't, you know, film videos. What if you had a garden? You know, that kind of stuff. What if you went to the park? Yeah, there's so much things, you know, you could do. Okay. Okay, we have written a lot of stuff over here in just few hours. It's kind of a jumble, you know. It's not really organized yet, but we are working on it. And that's this is the kind of process is you probably are doing with your YouTube channel also, that you have to first get into a mess and then you have to kind of organize it and that kind of stuff. You know, um, there was this Finnish YouTuber that, you know, he was kind of an alcoholic, but you know, he's living in an environment that was complete fucking mess, you know. Like, he lived in fucking, you know, dung hole, you know, you could say. And there were all kinds of, you know, like refurbished, you know, computers that he had, you know, like tens and tens and tens of computers and electronics everywhere. And, you know, it was a complete fucking mess, you know. And like, he had created this kind of, you know, fucking, you know, this, I don't know, this like insane dungeon, you know. And then there are these YouTubers that have these all kinds of, you know, electronics are there, you know, their like their main thing, you know, their backgrounds are all about that. And then there are these collectors, you know, that have some kind of video game collection on their background, or something like that. That's all they talk about. They just talk about video games, that kind of stuff. And then there are people who like, you know, books. I have a lot of books. Could I use my books as a background? That's a great idea. Could I use my books as a background? I have a huge amount of books. So should I use those? Do they make the background kind of busy? Does filming against a background that's a bookshelf make a kind of busy feeling background, or is it kind of cozy because books are cozy things? Well, you have those. Well, I have those books. Should I use them? I got this like creative idea actually. I have huge amounts of pages that have been ripped out of books, and these pages are, I have made like these like colorful markings on them. What if I kind of took some, I don't know, some big cardboard thing or something I could like glue those pages on, and I created this kind of like insane collage behind me of like words, and if I filmed from a right distance, those pages wouldn't be, again, a copyright thing. I'm getting this idea of using ripped out pages of books that I'm reading and using them as a background by gluing them on some board or something that I could use. But then again, I get into this problem with the copyright. The words shouldn't be readable. Would it be a problem? That could be interesting. It would be white, black, and then a lot of, like that. That's what I have already. With book, when you have your books as your background, I remember some of those YouTubers also. Usually people are just, they are filming in their homes, and their homes are the way they are, And I kind of want to break out of that. I want to break out of that. I want to make it feel more thought about. I want to make it feel more, I want to make it feel more, just, this is like my home and this is my bookshelf, Like I feel that that's kind of, no, I don't want to do that. I want to do something different, something like, man, this is hard. Like that would be that's a fucking creative idea, Okay, let's just, do I have over here a complete like thing about the background, the set, the background. Well, yeah, we're gonna just be talking about it over here. How important is your YouTube background? Well, it's quite important. What other ideas can you get or give me for a YouTube background? Let's write it like this. Let's use ripped out pages out of books that have been underlined or over highlighted with all kinds of funny colored pens. And let's glue pants. Oh yeah, I used that. I have actually used my pants as a background in one video, and that's really funny. That's really funny. That's really funny because I feel myself writing in a notebook, and my pants have this forest graphic on them, and the background was kind of a forest. It created kind of an interesting video. It was great. It was great thing. I feel. I would be so fucking like when I have bought those clothes, out of them, came out these kind of things, and it would be so fucking, funny that if you could use actually your clothes as the background. This is kind of a starting, point or an idea, yeah, but But what if you could use your clothes as a background? You would have to you would require a pretty large clothes, you know. Some people might be even so fat that they don't even like fit into the fucking frame of the video. Who knows? But let's use ripped out pages out of books that have been under and let's glue them on some board or something and use that. Let's use a pre-made solution like a paper background. Let's get a new tapestry for the walls. Let's hang something on a rope on the background. Oh yeah, I remember this dude, a Finnish dude. You know, there's been a huge amount of videos I've watched actually. There's the Finnish dude that had this hammock. You know, he was always he was doing these hammock videos. It's really interesting. You know, the guy. You know, he had a friend that he did his YouTube videos with, and they talked about hammocks. It was kind of interesting. And yeah, like should the YouTube, let's talk about materials. Should the YouTube background be paper, cardboard, fabric, what should it be made out of? If you had a conspiracy channel, could you make a background that had all kinds of red lines connecting dots or something like that on the background? I remember this one song that had like this music video where there was this dude that had this huge wall, and there was all kinds of that stuff like that. Could I? This is even more interesting. Could I film my videos against the blackboard and actually write something as a note? On the background. Great. That's the hour. We are kind of like redesigning Truth Detective over here. We're kind of like breaking it down, and you see that there's quite a lot of stuff that you could do, and you can do. Let's go again.